AOKANA is a fun sport about competitive dogfighting. But not here. This is a bloody fight montage.
ようやく本気になってくれましたね。
私は本気だったってば。
本当にそうでしたか？
邪魔するとぶっ飛ばすぜ。死んだ！そうされてみたいと思っていたんだ。
AOKANA is a story about learning to love the sport of flying through the air and to experience romantic love in the process. But if you loved AOKANA for the sports and the blood-pumping adrenaline that it brings, you need to check out Extra 2, because here, it'll become the best sports visual novel you'll ever read. Sure, these matches are exciting and thrilling to begin with, but Extra 2 takes them to another level, full of pure, intense hype, extreme close-ups of the players and fans showing their split-second reactions, imposing shots of fierce rivals ready to throw down, and new battle tracks full of tense urgency, vocal remixes included. The level of quality introduced in both visual, music, and direction is just insane. These are fights where every bit of emotional feeling is conveyed into jaw-dropping action. AOKANA celebrates the sport as a fun, friendly competition, but here it's a ruthless brawl. This is a frantic struggle for their beliefs, their spirit, and their hard effort is put on the line, for they have their reason to fight, a desire to play at sea. Misaki's the top dog around, finally reaching that place she so desperately wished to be, but the question for her is, what's next? Yes, AOKANA Extra 2 is the after-story of Misaki's route, but it is by no means a relaxing slice-of-life romantic fun time. It is a full continuation of her story, further developing Misaki and Masaya's character. In fact, that small break Misaki's been granted was only an illusion hiding how perilous her current situation is once she finally realizes it. And we see that through her point of view in certain scenes, not the roundabout, evasive, and frankly exhausting attitude that made me dislike her in the first place, but her actual true inner thoughts. This is how Misaki's story positions itself. It's a character-focused examination of sports competition, with flying circus as the stage. The core emotions created through competition vary widely from person to person, both the positives and the negatives. The thrill of the fight, the desire to get stronger, the frustration of losing, and the anguish from your own weaknesses. All in a rapidly evolving sport, where the meta constantly changes. Misaki may have reached the top, but being number one comes with its own pressures and insecurities, in addition to the wider self-reflective questions, like one's own purpose. Now that I'm at the top, do I just keep going? She may be the casual jokester, but there's no denying that she's the most introspective, self-critical, and emotionally vulnerable one out of all of them. We see how others approach these difficulties, but Misaki has to find her own, unique, personal way forward. This becomes a driving narrative in Extra 2. It's an earnest effort to not only overcome those insecurities and weaknesses, but to also achieve the self-satisfaction going forward. In fact, it's not just Misaki. Underdeveloped characters that didn't get much coverage in the original game finally get a chance to shine in the spotlight, including those who came back with a vengeance. And let me tell you, she is pissed. Ganeko got sick of being used as a comedic punchline, so she's here to demand her screen time. The hostility may seem a bit overkill for a title like AOKANA, but it's still founded on the same emotional grounds. She's got her own personal reasons why she's practically ready to stab Misaki with a knife. And it's not just her, we can't forget about the others. Satowin, Minamo, and even Shindo. Not only do these characters retouch previous points through different perspectives, but it also continues to develop those ideas further. Truthfully, the characters competing against Misaki are actually the same ones helping her as well. Of course, the ones supporting her since day one are still the same, and they get some great moments here too, including one character who was completely underutilized in the original game. Translation? They somehow managed to make Shion Aoyagi, the stubborn, muscle-headed president, a satisfying and compelling character. All of them help contribute to Misaki's shaping perspective, each inspiring and uplifting in their own special way. If Misaki can't find the answer herself, maybe someone out there can provide a fresh new viewpoint, because they all love and admire her after all. One emotional support boyfriend included, no matter how dense he is. Now, I've called out these two as an incredibly awkward couple. Misaki still being terribly roundabout, and Masaya not exactly keeping up with their subtleties. I found the romance passable in the original, since it was more of a focus on themselves as the two lick each other's wounds in the process. Not exactly the most positive image of their relationship, despite the loving nature of it, but it's a notable aspect of it. However, Extra 2 solves that issue. It manages to solve that because you have to remember these two are flying circus maniacs. These two have FC in their minds 24 24/7 that anything remotely assertive about flying circus strategy and planning feels like hypersexually charged innuendos. The sex metaphors are wild. Yeah, we get some tasteful romantic fan service in here, but I don't think anything can get remotely erotic than seeing these two whisper in each other's ears, describing how they approach fending each other off before spiraling together, their bodies coiling around each other over and over and over again. In FC, worthy of a standing ovation. And that's what's special about their relationship. As they keep growing together as partners, the end result forms a much more positive outlook and message towards themselves and each other. Yes, FC is a huge part here, but the romance aspect shines through too, beautiful fan service included. Generally speaking, fan disc sequels of visual novels are the after stories of the heroines after the main story is over. Not here though. Extra 2 is different in how it might as well be AOKANA 2. Yes, it does focus on Misaki and Masaya, but in many ways, it continues to develop AOKANA's other central themes and characters. In a way, AOKANA Extra 2 is a fully realized Misaki route with all the satisfying emotional hype from Asuka's route. This is a visual novel that will have you on the edge of your seat, and for AOKANA, this was everything I wanted and more. A 5 out of 5 with a seal of recommendation. Now, if you like that, you might want to check out this visual novel over here. And finally, just remember, Misaki Tobisawa is without a doubt the horniest girl around.